already have 18 people. That's crazy. I need to turn up the mic. Okay. Probably better now. Let's see what we got. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. So we're going to keep going on the open scales. I'm actually capoed to be in the key. But I'm going to show you E mixolydian, because it uses a lot of open strings, and A mixolydian. And we definitely, you'll definitely find times where you're playing in E and A. So kind of in a bluesy context or in a bluegrass context, or a lot of times I see bluegrass players when they play in the key of A, though, they'll just capo at the second fret and play in the key of G. They're not, so they can kind of do all their G licks and all that stuff. But like I've said in the past, it's always good to know to think of yourself in the key of A, even if you're playing G down here, you're thinking G shapes, because if you go up the neck and you think you're in G, you'll start to do G licks and they won't fit over the A chord. You got to remember. You got to remember that you're actually in A. So, you know me. I'm on. We haven't done any lessons on capos, have we? I could totally do. I mean, a lot of this stuff is kind of regurgitating, restating, spending time with you on a more almost pseudo one-on-one. Hey, air quotes. Take a sip. Pseudo one-on-one basis. Reteaching stuff that I've already taught in videos past. Yeah, we had a little bit of fun. Yeah, it was. Alex showed up later, and I thought he was going to, and then people started showing up. So we had a protest at our house. That's why it was legal. We were protesting the lack of toilet paper 3 months ago. That's what our protest was about. So we were protesting the paper industry, the wood pulp industry. I had a band in high school called Wood Pulp Industry. Yes, you are right. That is a sippable offense if I say I had a band in high school called. May have to get a haircut today. It's getting kind of shaggy. Friday's my birthday, so we're going to count down to that. Guitar is my video game is... Oh, that's Gary. Gary, is that you? You changed your... did you change your... Gary Schultz, is that you? Or is that a different Gary? Okay, I'm just tuning, standard tuning. I was a little flat. Because I had the capo on. I was doing some writing with the capo on. I've got a few things I'm working on this week. One is called The Freak Brothers, which was a cartoon, a comic book, like all about marijuana and weed stuff in the 60s. They've made into a cartoon today, finally. And Woody Harrelson is one of the characters, John Goodman. And so the episodes are like 3 minutes long. I mean, they're super short. I'm not even sure where they're airing. Let me look it up because I played on one episode, I played on several episodes, and I got another one today that I will probably have a phone meeting at 1 o'clock to discuss what exactly, I'm going to do. Yes. Oh, it's good. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What was I going to look up? Okay. I'm going to do Safari. I'll open up Safari because I want to open up if we need any jam tracks. It's called Freak Brothers, I think. And it's not it's NC-17 to say the least. Let's see what we got. Freak Brothers. Yeah, here it is. The Freak Brothers TV series. It says TV series, but literally the episodes are, and I think there's only been one episode technically aired. Pete Davidson, John DeMonico, John Goodman, Tiffany Haddish, and Woody Harrelson. Let's see. I'm trying to see where does it say where it airs? Storyline, genres, frequently. Oh wait, here it is. USA. Known as company credits. Boy, it just. It's like I said. These are 3-minute episodes. They may only be on YouTube or something like that. Maybe they're on. What's that new Quibi or what's it? No, there's that new one that's hey Bonnie, hey Vito, Diane. You gotta say some hellos here. Bruce, thanks for being here, Bruce. You got the admin wrench next to your name. Is our other admin here? Who's our other admin? Right now we just have you on board, so that's okay. Everybody's been pretty good too. We haven't had to do a lot of adminning. Jan Landman, good to see you. Yes, happy 59th, exactly. Crazy. I was just looking at pictures of kids when we were in Rome, and I'm like, it just doesn't seem like it was that long ago. And the kids were just little, and I'm like, now they're all. I mean, our oldest is 28, and our youngest is 22. So it just doesn't seem quite right. Yeah, Dennis, it's been a while since Dennis has been around. And Kathy for sure. Hope she's doing okay. Okay, so we're going to do a scale. We're going to do a couple mixolydian scales that work really good over E. And one of the things, like if you want to play in G and use like E mixolydian scale, because this E mixolydian scale is pretty fun to play and it's pretty cool sounding. For some reason, it actually just really kind of lays well on the guitar. But if you capo at the 3rd fret and you play the shape that we're going to learn, you're in G mixolydian. I was jamming on it as we were going live. But you have all these, Is it really fun to play that? Just fun to play it. So let's get started. So the notes in mixolydian is basically a major scale with a flatted 7th degree. So we could think of it as a root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Okay, and E major would be. I'm going to write out E major first so we can see what happens. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E again. And that is a 4 sharp key. Hey, Dickie, how's it going? Good to see you. I don't recognize your name. Are you new? So there's the E major. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. 4 sharps. F sharp, G sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. But what we do with the E mixolydian, and don't, here. There won't be a quiz on this. What we're doing with the E mixolydian is we just take the major, and one way to get a mixolydian scale, we could use the formula, but we're not going to do that. We're going to take the E major, and we're just going to go E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, and D. Oh, I went to E, so I might as well go to E. Okay. So mixolydian is a 3 sharp key. E mixolydian is a 3 sharp key, and that means it's relative to the key of A major, which is the major key with 3 sharps. So technically we're playing an A major, but we're starting on E instead of going A B C D or A B C sharp D E so on. We're going E F sharp G. Sorry, I'm trying to get my windows back organized here. I got too many windows open. Okay, so is what a sip. What did I do? Oh, I said yeah. I had a band in high school. A band of guitar nerds, exactly. But I'll take a sip. This is my second cup, and I can take an actor sip, a fake sip. Out of my, there won't be a quiz. Yes, you take a sip if I show you this cup. This you can actually buy on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel and just look below the video, there's a store. You get somebody, Tim, I think it was, or Jim, somebody got a shirt with this on it and posted it. And then, so I just think it's funny sitting there, you're having a conversation with someone. I think it's actually clever, you're having a conversation with someone and talking to them, and this actually makes them very relieved that later at the end of the conversation, what we get now, if you ask them later, like hey, we talked about that at coffee, but you said there wasn't going to be a quiz on it. I didn't say that. You're like totally oblivious to what coffee cup you're using. You can't see it, so it could backfire on you. You've got to better be careful. You agreed at coffee that you were going to give me $100. Vito, did you ask a question? Yeah, right. I should market that to teachers, exactly. Oh, Peter bought the first shirt. You're right. Yeah, you may have bought the only shirt. Let me see how much sales I have. I can look that up right now. Was it Teespring? I think. Let's see. My account. Close. Promotion, settings, messages, integrations, marketing, analytics. Analytics, maybe it's in there. I mean, I got a discount. Oh, no, we've sold another one here. So my total profit's $26. That's not bad, actually. It's pretty good. For 4 products sold, 4 units sold. Well, yeah, so, but I ordered one, but I don't get anything from that one, so that probably is not on here. Yeah, that one's probably not. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've sold, yeah, that mug didn't count. Okay, so I've sold 2 mugs and a t-shirt. And the most recent was, yeah, June 26th. So anyway, it's fascinating to me. I mean, I love the whole, I mean, I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to, I mean, I'm trying to make some money. I mean, it's part of the reason I do this is, oh, please read my above question. Oh, above, let's see. Sarthak, where is your above question? I don't see it. You might have to ask it again. It didn't go through. The only comment I see with your name on it is the one where you said, please read my question above. So go ahead and write that one out again, and I'll try to answer it if I can. Yeah, hit that like button. And subscribe too if you haven't subscribed. I'm assuming most of you are subscribers because you got a notification. So, this we could kind of do this 2 ways. It depends on, when you're soloing using this mixolydian scale, if you're soloing and you're going to be kind of playing down on a low section, you can kind of finger it with your first and third finger if you want. Okay, if you're going to go further up the strings, then you're probably going to want to use your second and fourth finger. because you're going to need your first finger down here for the G sharp. Now the great thing about this, if we can see the scale, there's an E, there's an A, and there's a B in it. So we've got E, A, oh, and there's a D in it. So we actually have all of the open strings will be represented except one, and I need to see if I need to print out. Shoot. Here's what we did last time, okay? And this is up at our Discord. So, uh-oh. Something is going on. Good. I got a blank one. My friend, I have a friend that a good friend died last year of cancer battle. Great drummer named Ronnie Minogue, and my friend just sent me a screenshot of his phone. He started to text somebody, and he started typing their name, and it autofilled Ronnie's name. I hate that. I get those kind of reminders all the time. I'm getting low. In fact, I'm out of paper. I better buy some more. Okay, so, oh, you know what? I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to write it out. All right? Pick up your guitars. You already have your guitars picked up. Okay. How do I end on a harmonic? Say I'm in G and how do I end on a harmonic adjust the G and B consecutive or G, D? Like a harmonic like that? Question from a Vito regarding jam stream in Alex's channel. Oh yeah, we didn't do it in Alex's channel, did we? We were going to, but he said, nah, I don't want to do it. Sorry, the comments are getting away from me. Hey, Dennis is on. Hey, Dennis, how's it going? We were just talking about you. you must have heard. Hello from the hills of Manchester or Massachusetts. All right. I have my sister lives in Boston. So Vito, you ask, how do I end on a harmonic? Say I'm in G. Do I end with a harmonic of just G or G and B or G, B, and D? You can get the whole triad like that. If you get the fourth, third, and second string. At the 12th fret, you just lay your finger on there, and then take your finger off as soon as you hit them, if you can. The sooner you take it off, hey Josh, the sooner you hit it, or the sooner you take your finger off, the longer it'll ring. If you leave your finger on there, it'll start to mute it. The G there. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing some kind of if that's what you're talking about, I'm not sure. Banjo players use that a lot too, the harmonics. But you've got the same three notes here at the 5th fret. They're going to be up an octave, and you're going to have to hit them pretty hard to get them to ring out. But that's I could do maybe a lesson on harmonics. Okay, but let me show you this pentatonic or this mixolydian scale. You can play the G and the B. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay, here's the question. I don't know music theory or scales, but I want to learn improv and solo. Which video should I start? Please help. Okay, I'll tell you exactly where to start. In fact, let me give you the first one. And somebody was just asking me, am I going to keep doing these videos? And I don't know. This is a great series that I just kind of conceptualized while I was working with one of the artists that I work with, who shall remain nameless, but he wanted to learn how to solo. And so what I did was I created a very simple jam track, maybe 2 chords, I can't remember. Improv. And start with the first one, Intro to Improv, show all. I think there are 9, episode 9, yeah, let's see, episode, and then there's jam tracks for them too, so you could do intro to, okay, so this one. So what I would do is just follow my instructions on this video. What I do is I show you a scale, A minor pentatonic, and then...
There are a million...
Stop. Wow, that's pretty good. I got 157 likes on it and no dislikes. You guys are all going to go dislike it now, aren't you? Okay, so here's the link. Here's the link. This, start here, and I did 9 of these. Somebody asked me if I'm going to do more, and I'm just not getting enough views on them to justify it. But basically what it is I show you the scale, and then I put a jam track on, and I say, here, follow what I do. And I do like... And then you do the same thing. And it's very, very simple. It's kind of a slow entry into it, but it gets a little harder. And the thing, I give you steps you can take. So you can do it again. And the second time, try not to watch what I'm playing. Just listen. And if I teach you a scale in that lesson, I really, 99.5% of the time, I'm sticking to that scale. I may accidentally slide up for a second, go oops or something. But for the most part, I really try to stick to that scale so that you really learn that scale. And it's not just about doing exercises up and down, because that's not a solo. That's not musical. Musically, that's music. That's an exercise. So I would recommend starting on that and then go from there. Okay? You are creating the YouTube guitar player reference. Good on you, Tom. What does that mean? Anyway, you know, I should advertise. I wonder if I advertised if I would get more subscribers. I don't know. I should do an ad where I say, don't worry, you won't have flashy graphics and zoom-ins and 18 cameras. It's just me and you. That's what I should do my ad. And there won't be a quiz on anything we do. So, you can take a sip. Okay, so let's get to the scale finally. 23 minutes in, guys. Come on. All right, so open E string. Let's go ahead and finger it what I would say correctly, because we are going to go all the way to the first string. So let's finger it this way, but I'll show you another fingering if we're just going to kind of jam on the bottom. Okay, in the bottom couple strings, 3 strings. All right. Turn off my tuner. Okay, open. Second finger on the 2nd fret. Pinky on the 4th fret. So there's E, F sharp, G sharp. Next string open, A. 2nd fret, which is B. 4th fret with the 4th finger, which is C sharp. Open D string. And then E. 2nd finger on the 2nd fret. Okay, let's do that again. Low E, that's a 1 octave. Low E, F sharp. G sharp, 4th fret, open A, B on the 2nd fret, C sharp on the 4th fret, open D, which is the 7th, and E is the root. And that's a full octave. When I say it's an octave, that means the same note an octave higher. On the piano, it would be, well, hard to explain what an octave is, but 7 scale tones up. So that's the whole scale. I'm touching my face so we can take a sip. My eye itched. Yeah, that's probably true. Free accessories. I don't have any accessories, sorry. I'm giving you free lessons. All right, so like I said, if you're just going to play that scale with that part of the scale, then you could use your 1st and 2nd finger, because you get a lot more or 1st and 3rd finger, because you'll have a lot more confidence and you'll be able to dig a little harder. So open E, 1st finger on the F sharp, 3rd finger on the G sharp, open A, 1st finger on the B, C sharp, D. I mean, just so you know, I charge $100 an hour for guitar lessons, and sometimes more. Depends on what the scenario is. So I'm giving away $100 every hour. Okay, so there's so far the mixolydian scale. Let's go all the way up to the G sharp here. Okay, so low E, 2nd finger again. We'll go back to 2nd, 4th finger, and then pinky on the G sharp, open A, B, 2nd fret, pinky on the C sharp at the 4th fret, open D, 2nd fret, okay, and that would be 2nd fret, that'd be your 2nd finger, that's E. Then we get up here with the 4th fret, and that's F sharp. Then this is the only string we're not going to have an open string on. That's G sharp, A, so 1st fret, 2nd fret, and then we're going to go up to the open B string. We could go up here, but then we want to use open strings. That's why there's open scales. So far we have 3 notes per string, and then we have 1 string where we have 2 notes. So that's going to be a little picking wise as you're going through the scale. You're going to want to kind of woodshed that section of the scale. Maybe just play the D string to the D note. Maybe end on the E so you give it that E tonality. Otherwise, it's going to sound like a D mixolydian or a D Lydian scale, which it is. See, it's hard. I'm only struggling because you like to see me struggle. But yeah, if you end on you could end on the E when you do it. To give it that E tonality. So let's go to start on this note. Then we're gonna hit the F sharp, G sharp, there, open B, 2nd fret is C sharp, D at the 3rd fret, open E, 2nd fret is F sharp, and then G sharp, and there's our 3rd, okay? If we wanted to get kind of a bluesy sound, we could go to the G and kind of pinch it up a little bit. Okay, so let's go descending. I'm just going to give you fret numbers at this point, not letter names and finger and all that stuff, because it just gets too many things for me to remember. It's like 4 things per note. So 4, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0, 2, 1, 4, 2, 0, 4, 2, 0, 4, 2, 0, 4, 2, 0. And that's an E mixolydian scale. Works great over like a blues. No, I didn't. Is he stealing from me? Is Rick Beato stealing from me? Blues scale, yeah, the blues scale, which would be we learned that when remember we did the blues lessons, we learned a lot of the scales over, and I probably taught you, well, we just talked about blues in general, so we were kind of more imitating lines and things like that. I can't remember what we did per se, but so I may have already shown you this scale back then. But in the context of open scales, and keep in mind, like, for example, if we're doing something, standard bluegrass thing, a very common chord progression to go to for a B section is a circle of fifths starting on the 3rd. And what that is basically it's 4 chords, a fifth away from each other, with the 4th of the 4 chords being the 5 chord in the key. Is that confusing enough? But basically, my goal is to go backwards. Like I want to do the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the 5, which is even more confusing. But basically, I want to end on the D7 chord because that will set up. That's the 5 chord to the key of G that we're in. So if you're jamming in a key, no matter what key you're in, but let's say you're in G here, you go to the chord, a dominant 7th chord built on the 3rd note of the scale, G, A, B, and that would be, so. there's the chord built on the 3. Well, that's the 5 of E, and E's the 5 of A, and A's the 5 of D, and D's the 5 of G. So technically, B7 is the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of 1. And that just creates a really fun thing to play over. I could show you B7. That one we wouldn't have very many. I could do a B mixolydian scale. It would have, well, we'd have 4 open strings. We'd have 4 open strings ultimately. Yeah, we'd have 4 open strings, which is kind of cool. But basically what I'm showing you is the scale that works really good over the E7. And that would be a E mixolydian. Okay, let me write this out. Yeah, and I'll write here, that chord change is 5/5 or S, exactly. That chord change was B7 to E7 to A7 to D7. And if you want to do it in any key, just take whatever key you're in. Say you're in the key of C. If you want to do it in the key of C, then the first chord of that cycle would be an E7 chord. Because if you count up C, D, E, go to the 3rd, make it a 7th chord, and then that's your 5 of the 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 5. So, get tired of saying 5 of the. All right, so I'm going to write out. There's only one string that's not open on this E mixo. Almost messed up. And the nice thing about this, we have 3 roots in it. Here it is. Okay, and I will scan this and post it in the Discord. So let me put on, hey, Seamus. I'll post it, when I'm done, I'll post it up on Discord. Let me give you the link. Dang, touch my face again. I am going to get some disease. All right. Let me go grab that. Yeah, and if you go to the beginning of our videos, like in the live stream thing, go to the video lesson number 1 or whatever it is, lesson number 1. What am I looking for? Okay. It starts on, what's the first thing I talk about? I talk about, the caged method. Actually not a bad thing to start on. It's a big picture kind of thing. And so if you've never really played guitar before, or you're a beginner, it might be, I try to keep it pretty basic. But man, we had some views back then. I mean, we're at 39 right now, which is pretty good for now. But back when the COVID started, we were getting up in the 60s live, which is pretty great. Although I watch Rick Beato and he'll have like 1,500 people on or something like that. It's like, no. Okay, so there's the Discord invite link if you're new to this, and in the Discord. On the Discord channel, you can go to, it says Tom's Bookmarks. That's where you'll find all the PDFs I upload from the lessons that I'm doing. Pretty much are all up there, okay? Gosh, I've got to shave. It's getting scratchy, so I've got to shave this. So I'll probably do that later today. My hair, I need to get a haircut. I've got a video conference at 1 o'clock or so to talk about the next episode of Freak Brothers. I can't talk about what it's gonna be, but we're doing some sound-alike stuff, which is really fun. And then now the next scale we're going to learn is A mixolydian. Okay, so A major is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. All right, it's a 3-sharp key, same as E mixolydian. E mixolydian and A major have the same key signature. They have the same notes. They just they have different roots, so they have different sound when you play them. But A mixolydian is the same scale, but when you get to that seventh note, the seventh degree of the scale, you just make it a G natural. Okay? So now we're only talking about 2 sharps, and that means it's relative to the key of D major. So A mixo is relative to D major. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you basically go to B and then you go down a fifth. B is the 5 of E is the 5 of A is the 5 of D. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, and Seamus, I need to get to Ireland. I need to get to Scotland. David Sellers is in Scotland. I need to get to both of those places. I don't know. Our next trip, I may go more Eastern Europe. It just depends on who's more open in the world of in the world as far as letting Americans in their country. But probably nothing's going to happen this year. We're not going anywhere this year. So. Okay, so and the A mixolydian works great over the A7 chord, but it works great over, like if you did a now if I wanted to go to the do that circle of fifths thing, then I would go to the third of A, which is C sharp, and make it a 7th chord. C sharp 7 to F sharp 7, B7, E7. Oh, is it in Emerald Guitars? Is that a store in Ireland? Okay, I'm going to have to make a note of that. Okay. Oh, so let me show you the scale first, then I'll write it out. I was going to write it out, and I'm like, I do it this way. Hey, John. Yokomaros. D major is a parent scale, right? Yeah. I guess that's another term. I've never used that term. I've always called a relative, which is a parent is a relative. So, but it's related. It's the same key signature, same notes. The only difference is they start and end on different notes if you were to play the scale outright. Okay, and you can, if you're playing if you're jamming over an A7 chord, you can take D major scale if you want, because you're like, oh, I know all my major scales. Why do I have to learn a whole bunch of new scales, mixolydian scales? If I know that D major is the same as A7 or A mixolydian, why do I need to learn A mixolydian? And there's some truth to that. The only problem is, it doesn't require any extra effort to play, to learn A mixolydian if you already know D major, because like I said, they're the same scales. The only thing you have to do is, instead of starting on D, you start on A and play the same notes instead of going. Now, the reason generally I would want to think when you're soloing over A7 or something, you're going to play a diatonic scale. The reason I'd rather think A mixolydian than D major is because, for one thing, if you're thinking D, you're going to want to land on a lot of Ds. You're going to go, and it's like, well, that doesn't work over the A7 chord at all. That's not bad. You get this. You're going to get some. It's just not going to. You're going to want to think. You're going to want to think A licks. You're going to want to resolve on A notes or C sharp or E or G7. One of the 4 notes in the chord are notes you're going to want to land on more likely. The carbon fiber. Yeah. I wonder, did they go to the NAMM show? Do you know, Carrie? Have you been to the NAMM show? NAMM, it's NAMM. I did a video on it. Let me see. Where did I put it? Here? Okay, I can go Get rid of this. Boom. Yeah. Probably did a couple videos. Questions about NAM. Oh, question time in NAM debrief. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that was back then. So I did one back in July. I did a little video. Copy. Hey, I can copy here. Great. I did a video about the NAMM show, like how to get tickets, how to, why you would go. And I don't know if they're going to, I mean, I'm pretty sure the summer NAMM got canceled. Normally it's in Austin or Nashville. It used to be in Chicago, I think. The summer NAMM, I think, was always in Chicago. For years, McCormick Place in Chicago. But the winter NAMM is always in Los Angeles or Orange County, Anaheim Convention Center. And it's pretty crazy. It's insanity. It's like going to 1,000 guitar centers at once. Literally, it's that kind of cacophony. It's crazy. So, okay. So on this A mixolydian, we're going to go ahead and start on the A string, the open A string. And this one, we can use our first and third finger because we have no notes on the first fret at all. Okay? So open. And then second finger on the first finger on the second fret, B, and then C sharp, third finger on the fourth fret, then open D, first finger on the second fret, which is E, then F sharp, which is the third finger on the fourth fret, open G, then the A with the first finger and second fret, open B, okay, first finger on C sharp, which is the second fret, then we have the D, okay, second finger, it's the first time we've used our second finger, open E, F sharp, and then see, that would be the G. If we want, we can get the A up here. That wouldn't be a bad thing to go ahead and reach up and grab that A. But the second finger on the third fret is the G. Sorry, I was looking at notes. Okay, so that's it. Let's go backwards. Let's go start with, and I'll just give you fret numbers. 5, 3, 2, 0. First finger wants to be cracked or something. Then 3, 2, 0. Then 2, 0. Then 4, 2, 0. 4, 2, 0. And if we're going to continue down, we go 3, 2, 0. Back up. Play your A7 chord. Okay, John has a question. I asked you about three notes per string versus cage. Yeah, you sent me, that was on, did you ask me that on, I think you asked me that on my, the Facebook page. I know that the lowest note of each 7 forms, yep, corresponds to the one, right. So let me write this one out, and as I write, I'll talk. I prefer the cage method. I think the cage method is far, far, far more organic than, I mean, sure, I think the 3 per thing is great for speed. I think it's great for flashy stuff. It's maybe really good for rock or metal or prog rock, things like that. That's the 3 per scales. I would have shown you those. I do have old videos on those. Let me see if I can find them. And you can check those out. But I'm not sure how I did put, okay, wow. And these are little 4-minute lessons. I did, weird, show all. I did 7 of them. I was going to say, I only did 5. So here's, I did G. These are really old. Okay, so I'm going to post this here. And so 3 pers, it's just a name I made up. I call them 3 pers because it's 3 notes per string. And the reason, we've talked about this recently, in fact, we just talked about it today. The reason I came up with 3 pers was for me. It wasn't for students. When we did the E mixolydian scale, remember I said, oh, you're going to have to shed this section. Well, why? Because you got 3 notes here, 2 notes here, and 3 notes there. So your picking gets all turned around. And so, I'm changing guitars so we can all take a sip. That's one of the sippable offenses. All right. So with the G's, and I don't have a sound up. Let's see. Create a sound here. Boop, ba, doop, ba, doo. Input 2. All right. But I gotta go fishing for my amp here. All right. And then let's just go with, wow. No, I need that on. Why does it sound like a wah is on? So like in G, you go. But it makes it a lot easier to, and I'm not a shredder, but it makes it a lot easier to coordinate your left hand and your right hand, because they're doing the same thing all the time. So your right hand, that's why I've been talking so much. We were doing open scales specifically because there's this kind of cognitive dissonance when you're used to plucking every note that you're fingering, and then you go to do open strings, and all of a sudden you're like, you're having to pluck open strings. You're not doing anything over here to create the note. It's a little weird, and it's hard to get your two hands coordinated, where it's a lot easier to coordinate them when you're playing everything. But there, yeah, all of. Yeah, see, just kind of sloppy. Not super tight. It's not as tight as like the guys that really do it. But the I think is this speaker aimed funny. I'm not hearing my. It's like my system is panned or something. It's weird. Okay, so picking up the acoustic so we can take another sip. But so the threepers are a great thing to know for certain styles. But I feel like the caged method is a far better. I kind of explained that in the John, too late. But yeah, it's. I feel like the caged method, which is lesson number 1, is what I think I did our first 12 lessons on the caged method. That will, is much more seeing the guitar, and the guitar kind of starts to unfold. And then Vito was asking me about how do you become a master or something like that. It's like, let's see. Yeah, for one thing, Vito, you'll never be a master of the guitar. That's never going to happen. And I'm not saying you specifically. I don't think anyone. See, you say how many licks do I need to master for each key to be decent in most keys? I would think it's tough, because I used to think that way. Like I had to have a bunch of licks, like I said, like I was talking about the other day, the 2-5-1. I need to have like a glossary of 100 2-5-1 scales, so that, or 2-5-1 riffs, so I can get through jazz. And the guys that are great players, they never think that way. They're just basically singing with their guitar. So the idea is to have such facility that you could do anything. And that may mean taking a lick like that and go. um, where you just do it in so many different ways. Oh, wait. Or whatever, that you just, it's like having a conversation. You don't go into a conversation with someone going, I need to have 100 sentences that I'm going to say. That would never work. So music is just a conversation, and you're having a conversation with other musicians essentially. So exactly, how many licks is the center of a Tootsie Pop? 3. 3. And so yeah, I wouldn't think that way if you can help it. All right, and so scales will kind of get you to a place where you can have more ideas, I think, than licks. But at the same time, you're going to copy licks from other guitar players. Your favorite guitar players, you're going to steal their licks, whether it's, okay, which gets us into our A7 thing. And when you do that, that's going to get incorporated in your playing. But what you might do with it, you might make it your own. You might go, or you might go, and that's the thing. If you get good at doing variations, theme and variations on anything you're playing, you can take one lick and turn it into 1,000 different licks. And then, so as far as being able to solo, yeah, so scales basically, you're right, exactly. Scales kind of like having a dictionary. No, scales are your alphabet, not a dictionary. So scales are your alphabet. And so the scales are what you use to make up words, and the words, you put words together to make sentences. And it's got to be something coherent, and it doesn't have to be flashy. Oh, I'm so glad, John. You want to say something. It doesn't have to be. I mean, if I go into a conversation and say a lot of big words really fast, the person I'm talking to is probably not going to ever want to talk to me again. So now it depends on the genre. If you're doing prog rock, then yeah, maybe you got to do something flashy because that's what everybody's sitting there with their arms folded like this is expecting you to do. So the pressure's on you, man. But even in normal scenarios, the idea is to kind of say something, and it could be, was it? It could be that. Dizzy Miss Lizzie. It doesn't need to be, 72 licks in one, 12-bar chorus. So. Exactly, Avito. So I would concentrate less on learning a bunch of licks and concentrating on more cultivating a mind of creativity that can take those licks and turn them into 1,000 different other things. Because a lot of times when you're soloing, it's all kind of about theme and variations. I mean, a while back I told you about the guitar player when I was running sound for this bar back in the 80s, like 85. I was a sound man at a bar, and they had this band that would come in, and one of the songs they did was, the band was called the Lost 45s, which was a great band name. And they did Dizzy Miss Lizzie, and the guitar player was great, and he, I think you have to play that lick like 48 times in the song, but he never did it the same way twice. He did, he just made it a challenge. He pre-worked it out, so it was not like he was like on the fly necessarily. He told me, no, I came up with, and he might go, or maybe, or, and he just did so many variations on it, and it was a testament to his creativity. So I got to write out the scale, the A mixolydian scale. I've got to write out. I'm very easy to get off subject, so, and everything I say is 100% true, 100% law. Okay, for one thing, all the open strings are good on this scale, so I can put zeros here. and then C sharp, and E, F sharp, G, A. This is kind of a fun scale to play too. And if you go all the way to the pinky on the top string on the 5th fret, then you technically have 2 octaves, or three A's, which is great for resolving if you want to resolve on an A. Okay, so here's that scale. And I already did D mixolydian. So what I may do, because we had D mixolydian on one of the sheets before, I'll write out B mixolydian on here, okay? So you can have all the 1, 4, 5 in the key of E. Because like I said, B mixolydian, 4 of the 6 strings can be open, okay? Truth and guitar, exactly. Let's see. How many licks? Yeah, 3 and then a bite. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Okay. How are we doing here? Oh, 37, not bad. All right, so the B mixolydian, I'll just write out. You can take a sip. I touched my face. A lot of sips today. Okay, A, and this is not open. This is not open. Open, open, open. Okay, so just for reference, there's the B mixolydian at the end if you really want to know that. Okay. Keeping in mind, like if we're playing over the B chord, the A mixolydian actually sounds great, and the E mixolydian sounds great. And I'm going to show you this by doing the jam track. Oh, what's this? Oh, I gotta select the language. Dang, I still haven't done all these. Wait. Wrong one. There we go. Save. All right. Huh. Whoa. Oh. So this video, this really old video, the 3-pers one I put, I've made a total of 81 cents on. That's funny. Probably because when I first posted it, all the original, well, yeah, it all says 0. So I wasn't making money on those views. Well, it says, yeah, see, I'm making very little money on these views. So, yeah, interesting. Because early on, it wasn't monetized. So, let's see. I need the Bluegrass Jam track. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to capo again. And I'm going to do the jam track again at the 100 BPM one. I'm going to get another add, no doubt. Weird, 1 of 2. But it's going to go right. Okay, went right to it. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the capo at the 3rd fret, and I'm going to use this E mixolydian scale and the A scale. I could, yeah, I wouldn't want to use the E mixolydian over the 4 chord, the C chord. Let's see here. Let me go back here. All right. Yeah, I'm making bank off you guys. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so now I'm capo at 3rd fret. Okay, just kind of warm up my fingers and see what this sounds like. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. weird is yeah, the B mixolydian sounds good over the B chord. I mean over the D, because I'm transposing A shape, which is C, G. Yeah, see, that's where I think the E mixolydian works pretty good over the. You have the flat third over the B. Kind of works good. I'm just trying to. It is definitely an exercise that you can. It's a good exercise, and I could. The great thing about the YouTube thing is you can slow that down to 50 beats per minute instead of 100 beats per minute, or even if you want to, I think you can go to 25 beats per minute. But the exercise is being able to switch between the different mixolydian scales or any scales. Being able to switch on demand. So I'm like. Then and so one of the things that really helps, okay, so do this with me, we're going to go back to open position, is to be aware of the differences between the scales, okay? So E mixolydian has a G sharp in it, and A mixolydian has a G natural. Other than that, they're identical notes. So as I was playing through this, when I got to the A chord, I could go to that G natural, and now I'm in A mixolydian. And then I know that I can take that A and just go down a half step, and then over the B, you can just. We can tackle that in a second, but because B mixolydian is the same as E mixolydian, but with the D raised to D sharp. But just so you know, it's just something to be aware of. If you start to notice those little differences, then you can. That's what you point out, and again, that's how you go from playing. And then playing licks over chords to playing licks through changes, okay? Or soloing through changes. A lot of players will do this thing where, oh, it's an E chord, okay. Oh, it's an A chord. Oh, it's E chord, okay. Oh, B chord. They'll just do the same lick, they'll just move it around. No, that's not soloing, that's that's transposing. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to play through a progression. So I can take that chord progression, like I said, I can slow it down. Let me see. Let me slow it down. Playback speed. There. Okay. So now it's going a lot slower. I'm going to capo again because I want to use the mixolydian shapes. Oops, I went backwards. Let me. get to the beginning. Here's the top. So I'm going to use the E mixolydian shape. So that even right there is kind of like a little example, a little lick you could do. So we're in E, 7 chord. Okay, go back to E, no capo. There's E mixolydian. There's a little snippet of E mixolydian. Actually, that's 6 of the 7 notes. So almost all of the E mixolydian scale right there. Open, 2, 3, open, 2, 4. Now that changes to A. All these notes are good except this one, so we got to go to there. That's even easier to play. Okay, so I'm going to play E7. You play this. Sorry. Open, 2, 3, open, 2, 4. Play that over this chord. Now go to the other one, which is change that 4 to a 3 over the A7 chord. I'm going to stay here for a second so you can practice it. Okay. Go to the E1. Listen to the bass player. A. The bass player will tell you all you need to know. G sharp on top string, back and forth. If you want to even make it simpler, you can go. And Vito, that would qualify for a theme and variations of sorts. You're making a slight adjustment, but the thing you're doing is you're playing through the progression rather than playing over this chord and then over this chord. I've showed you that before. You know, on a chord chart, you can go little brackets and go, okay, lick, 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 lick over each chord. Or it's much more interesting, I feel like it's much more interesting to play over the difference between the two chords. So you play a lick that starts halfway through the E chord and ends halfway through the A chord. And you're doing a transitional lick. And those are harder to do, but they're much more interesting in my opinion. So if you want, you can just, if you're having struggle with those 2-string scale, okay, so when I go to E, play this. When I go to A7, play this. And now listen to the bass player. Okay, does that make sense? I'm sorry, I don't have my. Yeah, a 505 mixolydian scale solo would not be an uncommon thing to be able to do, and that's exactly right. You're going to want to play through. So, for example, the B7, if we're in G, we go to B. You know, we got the B mixolydian. To the E mixolydian. To the A mixolydian. Shoot. To the D mixolydian. Now we would get you back around full circle all the way to the G, which the D mixolydian is the same as G major, same notes as G major. They're a parent scale apparently. So I've heard that term parent scale, but relative is what I was taught back in high school in the 70s. So they're related. Okay, so let's see. Will we add F mixolydian? F mixolydian. There's only one open string. No, there's two. I guess there's. I guess we could do F mixolydian. I'll put it on the sheet. Okay, how about that? Because there are 1, 2, 3 of the strings are open. The whole point of these lessons are learning open string scales, and I would have taught threepers in our lesson, but I feel like the dexterity involved in threepers is such that it would lose most of you. And I don't know. It's like I said, it's very prog, maybe jazz. I mean, I've used it in jazz, I guess, but I mean, the cool thing about the F mixolydian is at the bottom, 3 strings, you're just using your first and third the whole time. So it's a fairly easy scale to kind of get down in that regard. E flat mixolydian would have G and there's no A in E flat. So we get to E flat. Well, B flat mixolydian would have D and G in it. So you could do that one too. You basically take that A natural and put it in A flat. So you'd lose your open A string. But yeah, those are the chords. Those are the scales for today. Let's see. Well, it's too late now, Leo. Leo, I just did it. Yeah, and if you want, I should do a recording of. That's a great idea. I should do a Circle of Fifths jam, right? I'm gonna make a note to myself. I wouldn't do circle. I would do. So it probably would do E7, A7, D7, G7. Those I wouldn't do B7. So it would probably be something like that. I'll write it out down here. Sorry. I should do that. I could easily do that. E7, A7, D7, G7, and that that would be fun to talk about playing over. One of the things when I took lessons from Carl Verheyen, that was one of the things we did was he had me playing over those kind of progressions, and I'm gonna have to get a different sound than this gainy thing. Let me do this one here. Right? You've heard those kind of jams before. Very common in kind of 70s rock. I think Molly Hatchet and Leonard Skinner. I'm pretty sure Marshall Tucker did a jam like that. And we would do things like I would find shapes in like the different chord shapes like E7, A7, G7. It should be. You know, and you can hear the chords change as I do those licks, but basically, and in this case it is, I'm doing a lick over each chord change. You know. You can really hear it, and then it's funny because when I do the G, it goes right to the E chord. There's the G, a G dyad to an F dyad, which works great over a G7. And then, so you can. Yeah, so yeah, that was I haven't thought about that kind of stuff in years, but yeah, it's just. What was what would do like? Do all the do the same lick. It's kind of the theme and variations of Vito thing I was talking about, where you find a lick and then you just change it for each chord so that it becomes this. You make a variation on it to accommodate the next 5 chords. So anyway, yeah, hardly fire Leo. Yeah, so yeah, and although the funny thing is, if I put it down Circle of Fifths jams, I'm going to get all sorts of people saying, "Well, that's not the Circle of Fifths. That's only 4 of them." So I'm sure. But it's still a great jam. So I'll post it. I'll record that maybe even today and post it. I haven't posted a video in forever on my YouTube channel aside from these live streams. All right, I'm starting to lose you. I got 29 people. Where is everybody? Come on. You don't need to go to work. You don't need to go to bed. You can stay up all night. So let me scan this. I got so much crap here. Nope, nothing on the scanner. So I'm going to scan these. I'll just call this one More Mixos. All right. And then I'll post it to the Discord. I'm going to post the, right now I'll post the link to, scan. Okay. Right now I'll post the Discord link. I'll get a fresh one because it has to be fresh. They expire for some reason. Which is a drag because everybody who clicks on it in watching this video later, like, well, it doesn't go anywhere. So, hey, Hook, you're still there. That's good. What is technically the Discord name of the Discord channel is what? So if somebody wanted to go find it, it says Peanut H Power Chord. Is that the actual name of it? Okay, so exit. What the heck is that noise? It must be outside. Sounds like a cat hurling. That's not my cat. My cat's not in here. Thought it was the flatbed scanner or something. Okay. Let's see. Mixo scales. I don't think I've got something called this. All right. So put it there. No. Okay, it's not this. It must be outside. And then I'm going to my Tom's Bookmarks. I'm going to upload it there. Live stream stuff. Mixo scales. Okay, so these are the ones I just showed you today. And they are officially up there. Oh, yeah, okay. I thought it did it twice. Okay. Oh, that's definitely outside. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to add I'm in Logic right now. I'm on a session for this TV show I was telling you about, but I'm gonna go out here. I can do like a piano. It's such a weird sound. It sounds like it's in the room with me. What's the tempo? Wrong chord. Oh, stupid MIDI data. It sends MIDI data. My keyboard sends MIDI data. I have to turn off in the preferences. I have to turn off MIDI pitch shift. MIDI. Here we go. It's called input filter. I got to put the input filter on the pitch. Band other way. See now. See, it's not in tune. So I've got to load a different piano. Start over again. Not a problem. Okay. And so the idea is you have the jam I'll do will be on guitar. I'll do acoustic. I can play it like this. Two fingers. Those are tritones. And I can go. Circle of Fifth is kind of fun to play over. Challenging. You almost have to have an idea and then just kind of take that idea and develop it a little bit and keep going. I mean, that's true. Soloing in general, it's a good idea. Okay, I'm losing everybody now, I'm sure. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to, Peanut H power chord. Yep, that's right. And then ask to join at that point, right, Hook? And then somebody will approve them. I don't think we have any pending. I think I originally, like the first day or two on it, I think I approved some people. Diane's still here, which means I have to formulate a story, don't I? A story. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a story. Oh, thanks, Ed. I appreciate that. I hope it was a good lesson. I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I don't know what Wednesday is going to look like. We'll see. Lord willing, if I'm here still Wednesday, then Gary's still listening, but he's working. Um, Story for Diane. Let's see. uh, Gosh. It's like most of my stories are like sad. Like when I was a kid or something, just getting abused by the bigger kids. I remember having, yeah, I don't want to, I don't know that I could, I've got a story that's, no, I can't. It's pretty humiliating. I hate to have it permanently up on the interwebs. In junior high, I was very pathetic. I really wanted to be popular. I moved around a lot. And so I finally moved to Indianapolis when I was in 5th grade. So that was the last time we moved. Well, actually, my dad, he was like, the first sign was he started complaining about his job. And my mom knew that meant the next thing he would do was start looking for another job. And then that meant moving again. And she had moved, she said in 20 years of marriage, they lived in 13 different homes. Now, some of those, I think, early on were apartments. I think they bought their first home in South Bend, Indiana. And I was born there. Then they bought a house in Indianapolis a couple of years later. Then they moved to Washington, D.C., and then we moved to Philadelphia, and then moved back to Indianapolis. So I was party to 5 of those 13 that my mom said they had. Now, in defense of my dad, the first couple of years they were married, he was in the military. So they moved around quite a bit for that. But once he got out of the military, even then they were moving around a lot. And that information is pretty much gone now because both my parents are gone. And I know that my older sister was born in New Rochelle. My other older sister that passed away when she was 2, when I was 6 months old, she was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then I was born in South Bend. So those were 3 different moves with 3 different guys. My mom she had 3 kids under 4, and she was being asked to move again. I mean, that's just crazy. So, oh my gosh, your parents moved 40. I'm assuming military, right? So what was the story that I was desperately trying not to tell? So brutal. So brutal. Like so many guys, totally had a crush on cheerleader in junior high, this one cheerleader. And somehow miraculously almost every day I just happened to be standing next to her in line in lunch and would talk to her. And so for some reason in my head I thought I had a relationship. I'm telling the story. I'm telling it. I'm like, we're coming up on the last day of school, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I can go a whole summer without seeing this girl. So I'm like, what grade am I in? I think I'm in 7th or 8th grade. And, gosh, this is humiliating. And I'm going to pretend, I can say first names, but her name was Julie. And I got in line with her and I'm talking to her, and this is the last day of school. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to ask her out, and I had a plan. I'm like, we're going to go on a bike ride. We're going to go to Alverna Retreat, which doesn't exist anymore. I was going to make a picnic lunch, and we're going to ride our bikes to Alverna Retreat. And they had the stream that went through this retreat was it was a monastery. And it's been turned into multi-million-dollar mansions now, but it was a monastery back in the day. And so there were monks there, and they didn't speak, so it was super quiet. And there was a beautiful stream running through the property, and they had these giant rocks that you could sit on. And I thought, we'll go out to one of the rocks, sit on there, have a picnic lunch. I mean, how cute is that, right? And so that was my vision of our date. And it took me about a month to get up the courage. I'm like thinking the school year's ending. I gotta ask Julie out. So, yeah, right. And so, I went to. Sorry, I was reading the comments. So I get in the lunch line. I'm right behind Julie. I get my food, and I follow her to her table where she's sitting with her friend Anne. And I said, "Can I sit down and talk to you for a second?" She said, "Sure." You know, she was super nice, and there was no reason not to. And um, I said, "Would you be interested in going out this weekend?" And she said, and there's several things that happened, and I wasn't really aware of it, but she said, "Well, I have cheerleader camp this weekend." So I took that as a no, but that wasn't a no. I wish I had realized that when I was 13 years old, but I didn't. And she said, "No, I have cheerleader camp this weekend, so I can't." What I should have said at the next moment was, "Well, what about the next weekend?" And then that would have told me whether she was interested at all. Okay, because then she would say, "No, because next weekend I'm going away out of town with my parents." Well, and if that were true, then maybe, but what about the next weekend? If it was her idea, then it would be, but I didn't. But I'd spent a whole month summoning this courage, so I turned to Ann and I said, "Well, what are you doing this weekend?" I'm like, I'm not going to waste this courage, but I hadn't been pining for Ann for a year. I've only been pining for Julie. But Ann was a cheerleader too, because that's why they sat together. You know how the cliques are, right? And she goes, "Oh, I've got cheerleader camp too." So I'm sure Julie was like, "What?" I was like, oh my gosh. So so I get back to my friends table. Of course, I was a god at that moment because all my friends went, "You did what? You asked Julie out on a date? Are you kidding me?" So yeah, exactly. She can, and then she's sorting her sock drawer, which for a cheerleader might be a full-time job. I don't know, And so I, I'm like, but it was the last day of school, right? So it's like, okay, I got a summer to recuperate and figure life out, and that. Remember back in the day when you have split classes, and that was that was the year I had English, like a half an hour of English before lunch and a half hour after lunch. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know that they still do that, but it was a split class. By the time I got back to class, so I sit down and have my lunch. I go back to, in fact, I probably didn't eat much because I was like so stressed from, middle school. Oh my gosh, brutal. True grit at 13, exactly. And by the time I got to Mrs. Kivett's English class, and she was like a 88-year-old blue-haired lady that had no idea what was going on when her back was turned. I get back to class, and my classmate, she had us seated alphabetical, and I was in the front row, but it was, through there, and I was the very corner, front, ST, whatever, and then the guy behind me was, I won't say his first name, but his last name was Tate, Tate. And he sat right behind me because alphabetically that would be the case. And he was a big kid. And we get to class, and he comes up to me. He was a big athlete jock guy, and I was a little teeny squirt of a guy at the time. And he said, "Did you ask Julie Harvey out?" Oh, I said her name. Shoot. "Did you ask Julie out?" I said, "Yes." And he goes, "That's my friend David's girlfriend. My best friend David's girlfriend." And I said, "Oh, well, I had no idea." She didn't say anything about that. Which, again, that's another indicator that maybe she kind of liked me. I don't know. And, Catherine's going to miss the rest of the story because it gets bad here. So Jeff said, "If you don't kiss my shoe in front of the whole class right now, I'm going to beat you up after school." I should have let him beat me up, but I didn't. I kissed his shoe in front of the whole class. Thank God it was the last day of school, but that was junior high. I mean, I swear, it sounds like Owen Meany or something. It sounds like Prayer for Owen Meany. It's just, it was just, that was the kind of thing, Diane, you asked for it. That was the kind of thing that those kind of stories populate my junior high experience. It wasn't the first time. I told you about the time the amp blew up, right? That was the last day of 8th grade, or 9th grade. This was the last day of 8th grade, I think. Because where I went to school, we had, junior high was 7, 8, 9, not 6, 7, 8. So I went to junior high with 7, 8, 9. I think now it's 6, 7, 8 at the same school. But yeah, that was pretty humiliating. Tate guy, I probably said his first name too. He um, he went he went to. I saw him later, a year after high school, and I was still in Indiana. You remember, I didn't move out here till I was 21, so it took me a while to kind of get the courage to move to California. Um, yeah, we no. There was a story with Tate, Mr. Tate, I will call him, that is very. I don't think I ever told you this story. I'll tell Bonnie. Remember this for yeah. He was a bully, and I got beat up a lot, and by then I'd already been beat up quite a few times, and usually beating up back then went punching in the stomach once and going down and I'm out because I had a bread basket that was like worthless. I used after high school or even in high school, I did thousands of sit-ups just so that I could prevent being knocked out with a belly punch. But I actually got knocked out a couple times from that. But yeah, it was just I don't know. I just I just attract the bullies. It still happens, believe it or not. They still can. There's something that just goes. Zoop, they go right to you like a magnet. Oh dang, nice for you. Girls are asking you out at 13. Yeah, I didn't have that problem. Although I found out later at my high school reunion that there were a couple girls that were like, "Why didn't you ask me out?" I'm like, I didn't go out on a date until I got to college. Ultimately, I don't think I ever went out on a date after well, kind of went on a date. Maybe. Nah, I don't know. Maybe little cute dates or something like that, but not anything official where I drove, pick up a girl and take her somewhere. That didn't happen until college. So, because like I said, by the time I got to high school, I was like so focused on moving to LA and getting amazing at guitar. So my motivation was, I'll show them. Literally, it really was. And that was funny because like they all know, all the high school people, they all know like, oh yeah, Tom works with Bieber. It's like, how is that even possible? Their grandkids think it's cool. It's like, what? I don't know whatever happened to Julie or Ann. I never, they're not on Facebook, so I don't see them. But a lot of the friends I had back then, kind of, totally different world. Half of them don't remember doing any of that stuff. But I did see the Mr. Tate guy, and I am saying Tate, T-A-T-E, nothing else. I did see him like after my freshman year of college at Butler. I saw him working he'd gone to ASU on a soccer scholarship. And I saw him, he was working at like over the summer, his summer job was working at a sports store, shoe store or something like that, like a Big Five. I'm trying to think of what are some of those, Dick's Sporting Goods, that kind of place. He was working at in I want to say Greenbrier, but it was Nora, Indianapolis, north side of Indianapolis, where I lived. And he had a brace on his knee, and I said, "Oh, what happened to you?" And he goes, "Oh, I blew out my knee and lost my scholarship." And I was okay, not a very Christian thing for me to admit, but I was happy. So anyway, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, because he actually, I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll tell you the other story of Diane, Wednesday. I'll tell you the other story, Diane, if you remind me, okay, about the Tate story, because I don't think I told you the other one. The other one's pretty funny, but not. You thoroughly enjoyed. I'm glad you enjoyed my misery, Avito. That makes me warm and fuzzy all over. No prom. No. You know why? Because I was playing at them. I was in bands. I was getting paid a lot of money back then. I was getting paid like $100, $150. You know what that was in 1978, 79? $150 a night to play at a prom and get to play guitar and jam with my band. And we were, I think every Friday and Saturday night, my senior year of high school, I was working at a prom. And in the spring, I was doing homecoming dances. Or no, spring was proms, fall was homecoming dances. I never went to a single dance, but I played at a million of them, and I much preferred it. I'd much rather be playing, playing on, I hate going to concerts. I hate going to live shows. I mean, if it's really good, I want to go home and practice. If it's really bad, I want to get up there and do it better. That's just, I get real antsy. About 30 minutes in, I'm like, I'm ready to go home. So, yeah. Yeah, karma, exactly. Yeah. At your high school, oh my gosh, that's brutal, having to force to ask a girl out. Ugh. I mean, I'm trying to think if any other girl I asked out from that point on. Like in high school. Well, like I said, in high school, I didn't date. A girl in college I asked out, she said, yeah. I don't think I ever got turned down after that, but it wasn't that. It was like 3 or 4 girls. Although, I have a Beth story too. She's over there. First time I asked her out. That was pretty funny. So, Diane, you may have to remind me about that story too. And it was actually it was a good first, I mean, it wasn't really a date, especially on when it happened. Prior to it, I was thinking date, and then when it happened, it became a non-date, which is funny. So Diane's got a pad and paper by her computer. Okay, Tom stories. Got to keep tabs on these. These are more personal ones. I'm trying to think of more like gig ones. There's some funny gig ones. I have a couple that are R-rated. So I got some of those too. The second time I played at Culver Military Academy. You can write that one down, Diane. Let's see. And then there was there were many frat parties that had some stories related to them too. Seems like all my good band stories were all in Indiana. Because when I got here, it was more, it was a different kind of thing. Instead of getting there, setting up, doing the sound check, doing 3 sets of music, tearing down, having some crazy thing happen on the way there or back or whatever. Those stories, I populate my first 3 or 4 years of my professional career. After that, when I started playing in my band when I started playing with bands here, it was pretty much set up, play, get off stage. You play your 30-minute, 35, 40-minute set and then get off stage so they can get the next band up. And there's just, and you're mostly playing for a few friends and then anybody who happens to stick around. Wow, in Vito. Yeah, and you get in a Vito, your parents pick your spouse, right? No, Friday could be the best story. Anyway, I'm going to sign out, and I will talk to you guys. I have to figure out what we're going to teach and what I'm going to teach on. If you have any suggestions, post them here when I end this stream, okay? And then I may talk about capoing because I love talking about capoing, okay? So I could probably talk 10 things on it, because really what I would want to do with you guys with capoing, and I haven't done capoing yet, have I? Is make you guys memorize the chords that you're actually playing. Now, this 3rd fret capo, you play a G shape. That's not a G chord. It's a B flat chord. So what I would do is probably sit down with you and have you, we just go through the capo positions and start memorizing them. So, but again, memorizing stuff, I always feel it's best to memorize on a need-to-know basis. Don't memorize everything. Like for example, you don't need to memorize all 7 modes in all 12 keys. There's no reason to do that. But if we're going to do a jam in E, E blues, you might want to learn E mixolydian, A mixolydian, and maybe B mixolydian. So now you've learned 3 of the scales rather than learning, what's 7 times 12, what's that, 96? 7 times 94? 100. Ugh, brain. My multiplication tables are gone. Will there be a quiz on it? No, it will not be a quiz on it. On the Mr. Tate stuff. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon, and we'll pick up with something on 84. Thank you, John. I said 94, didn't I? All right, I could have figured that out a lot faster than if I. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday, Lord willing. Okay, bye.